And welcome to the House of Fandom. I'm your host, Clark, on the check-in, and we are back from our short but sweet hiatus, and I'm joined by my amazing co-host, starting with Mr. Star Wars extraordinaire over here. Danny, what's up? Good evening, good morning, wherever you guys are at. How are you, man?
I'm doing good, Clark, man. Appreciate everybody coming back, feeling energized. Let's get this going.
Awesome. And right on the top of the square with the bat signal brightly shining, we've got Spike. How's it going, Spike? What's up with you, man? What's going on with you? How's things going this week?
Hey, man, I'm great, baby. Happy to be back, man. You know, as you can see, I'm in 3D.
Yep.
You know,
nice. 3D. This guy. Let's just stick to the show. Let's not stick to trying to be Red Fox over here. All right, and last but not least, wearing his Boys in the Hood shirt. Go ahead and show us that Boys in the Hood shirt, because you obviously wore it for a reason. Okay, there we go. The original OG. Actually came out in 19. Correct me if I'm wrong. 90.
91, I think.
Okay.
90 or 91.
90 or 91, right.
Yep.
Classic. A lot of stars came out of that movie. Ice-T. Well, we could say the Academy Award winner, Mr. What's his name?
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Cuba Gooding Jr. I like his brother, though, and his brother's pretty crazy, too, though. I don't know if you've seen him in movies, but his brother looks just like him, but he's more like a rough around the edges version of Cuba Gooding. But listen, man, the myth, the legend is here. He's got a full summer beard going on right now, Grizzly Adams style, wearing his bedazzled spectacles. What's going on, Tank? How are you feeling? I understand you're going to be traveling abroad or traveling somewhere. My neck of woods, maybe. What's up, man? What are you doing that?
This is a long intro. First of all, this is a year-round beard. I don't. It's not a summer beard. I don't do that whole summer winter beard.
All right.
But you know.
So this is your summer do. This is your summer do.
No. This is not all the time do.
Oh, okay, this is your all the time do. Okay, I just wanted to say do. That's why I said that. But go ahead.
But tomorrow night after I get off work, I'm flying out to Tampa for my birthday on Sunday.
Nice.
So I get out of the old Michigan and back to Tampa.
A fellow July baby, just like me. Awesome, brother. And do you want to tell the audience, all your fans out there, how old you turning?
37.
37, and ladies, he is single and ready to mingle. All right. So let's get this party started. Tank, I'm gonna just hand it off to you for some. What do you got for us in your bag of goodies?
All right. First, we're gonna start off Fandom news with some trailers. First trailers is the full season 3 trailers for Titans.
All right.
I was out here all alone once. Bruce made me go out into the forest by myself for the first time. I had no idea what was out there.
You were just a boy. Those were the lessons that he taught you. Bruce was a psychopath, using fear to control everyone. You need to make sure that this doesn't happen to someone else.
Batman's ally was found dead tonight.
It's over for me. Be a better Batman.
Barbara?
Welcome back to Gotham, Dick.
Batman's gone. Gotham. It's mine now.
We're investigating this new Red Hood case.
Bruce, he said, be a better Batman. The Titans got this.
You know how crazy that is, right? Trying to step into your father's shoes.
I do, Commissioner Gordon.
The whole world is turned upside down.
I think I'm losing my mind.
If you're gonna dove, I'm on a hawk. We need to stop him.
For cases like these, we've been using a consultant. Scarecrow.
Dr. Crane?
Dick Grayson. Red Hood is a biblical brother. The king moves stealthily in the shadows while the pawns are sent to the teeth of destruction. It's just his opening move.
Where I come from? You come after family? We show no mercy.
And we are live, back from Titans. So, Tank, I'm going to hand it over to Danny, if you don't mind. Danny.
No problem at all.
All right, appreciate it, gentlemen. Okay, we have just finished watching the trailer for season 3 of Titans, now playing on HBO Max for all of us to enjoy and not have to pay a separate subscription for this time around. Okay, gentlemen, we are back. Let's stretch our legs, our arms. Let's get into this, boys. So I want to go with Tank first as I like to call him our DC aficionado on the team here, who actually knows names and characters and such. So we'll start with you. Tank, take us through this trailer. What did you think of this this first impression of seeing Titans 3 before the premiere this next coming month?
I think the trailer looks good. I mean, Titans, it has its ups and downs, whether how people like it or not. I do like it. This trailer looks great. They're diving right into to Jason Todd becoming Red Hood. The kid who plays him still looks a little bit too young, so I don't know if they're going to do like a time jumper or something. Probably not. But yeah, I had the one scene where I haven't heard any announcements, but they obviously the Joker is in there killing them. So I don't know if they're actually gonna show like his face, or if he's just gonna be a far away person, just stunt actor doing it. So I'm interested to see how they do that.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting. You touched on a good point there, Tank. I mean, the Red Hood series, or let's call it the arc in Batman. It's one of the most well-known arcs in all of DC. Big turning point for obviously Batman. Big turning point for the Bat family in general there. But you bring up a good point. I mean, I'm a big fan of the show as well, just as you. And I, Robin, but
yeah,
it just feels like, okay, well, when this a little bit older, maybe a little bit bigger. I mean, just the Red Hood is such a menacing, like, anti-hero, let's call him at this point, right? So I want to turn it over to Spike, our DC Batman specialist over here. Now, Spike, being a big Batman fan like me, do you feel like we're getting this version of the Red Hood too soon? Your thoughts?
When you say too soon, do you mean just age?
I mean, the kid looks like he's 10 years old, and now he's this guy called the Red Hood, and he looks like he's a midget in that suit. Just say that, yeah.
And from that standpoint, yes. I mean, the
Dwarf.
Red Hood is, older, like you said, seasoned, and very intimidating, all the way around, not just because of his weapons. And so, for me, I'm skeptical as if the kid will be able to pull it off. I don't know if it's a problem. I mean, I feel like this could be so much easier because he wears a hood. Just get somebody, a body double. You don't have to use the same kid, but hopefully that's something they're looking at, But yeah, I'm a little skeptical about who they're using right now. Absolutely.
I mean, we didn't get too many looks at him. We got a couple up close ones, but nothing like from a distance where you can kind of tell the height.
Exactly.
I don't. For me, it's like I'm not sure if I'm gonna believe this version of Red Hood.
Well, another part of that though too, we're dealing with Hollywood, bro. A lot of the casting has to do with how tall everybody else is as well. So, how true to nature are they really going to be, or are they just going to try to make sure everybody kind of evens out? How tall is he going to be next to Dick or anybody else? So, they're probably playing up to that, to be honest with you, a little bit. And if that's the case, I don't think it'll affect us too much as long as the acting's good. But other than that, unless he's like 5'4", come on, man, that ain't gonna work.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I think he plays a good, second generation Robin.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't know. I mean, it's such an interesting time in the show right now to bring him in, where I think the actor hasn't maybe grown up enough to play that more mature version of the character. I don't know. That's just my thoughts on that there. Clark. So, I mean, Tank touched on this a second ago here. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the arc for when it comes to Red Hood, but Red Hood eventually comes about because the Joker actually kills that version of Robin. And he goes through the whole Lazarus pit thing and all that. I mean, it's a big part of it. So I'm curious if they're going to dig into that or not and just throw a mask on him and just call it a day. I hope they don't. I hope they don't skip it. It's a great story. But, I mean...
So is this the Todd version of that gets murdered?
This is Jason... Yes, this is Jason Todd. So this is the Jason Todd version here. But the question I have for you here is that we saw kind of from the back of his head. We didn't get a full look. But it appears in this trailer here, we are going to get a version of the Joker.
Right, I saw that.
So for you, I'm not sure. Again, I don't know if you watch the show like Tank and myself here, but for you, do you think this is going to be a good idea to bring in a big profile character like the Joker in? Or do you think he's going to take away some of the shine away from the characters that we've been following the last 2 seasons?
Okay, so full disclosure, I have not seen any episodes of the Titan show. I keep hearing that it's worth a shot to take a look at it, to watch it. I think part of my hesitation was feeling that it was in the CW kind of like world, and it just, I wasn't sure I was going to, be able to, keep my attention, and so, in talking to you guys and hearing feedback from Tank, I'm going to give it a shot. I will tell you, I always have a concern when they bring in an iconic character, probably arguably the biggest iconic, the biggest baddie of the Batman universe.
DC in general.
Yeah. Well, I beg to differ on that point, but that's neither here nor there. But I will tell you that bringing the Joker in a show like this so early on, it screams of like almost like, hey, look what we got. Here's our shiny toy. Watch us. So I'm concerned on how that's going to be delivered. Hopefully they don't shoehorn it in.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, you bring up a good point there. Even though I'm not watching it, that's a heck of a point that you bring up there, Clark, because, we're now in season 3. We're getting the full-on review of Red Hood. Just third season in. And, we're going to get the Joker in some capacity. We don't know if it's going to just be a flashback to when it happened or if he's going to play an integral part of the story here. But I feel like Clark is onto something here. They might be burning some of their inventory of great stories that they have because maybe they're attempting to try to save the show because, it premiered on the DC Universe subscription. That is now folded into HBO Max. This is going to be their first season on HBO Max. Tank, do you think they're pulling this out now because they want to make a big impression on the new platform?
No, because they already brought in Batman, or really just Bruce Wayne. With the guy, I don't know his name, but I know he was he was in some damn show, Game of Thrones. He was Khaleesi's little friend zone guy. And they brought him. I feel like that was probably them trying to get people to watch, the second season. Which I mean, he's a great actor. He just doesn't scream out. He might be a good Bruce Wayne, but I can't see him as Batman. But I think honestly, because ever since they brought in Jason Todd, I knew that they wanted to bring Red Hood into this, and I think they have it. So if they want to do Red Hood, they have to bring in the Joker. I think that's why we haven't heard anything about anyone playing Joker really, and they only showed him from afar because they only. I feel like it was suck. It would kind of suck if they only use him for that, but I think they're only going to use him just to kill Jason, just so he becomes Jason Todd. Because there's no other mention or any hinting of him in the trailer. Everything else is about Jason, is about the Titans and then Jason Todd, and I'm trying to figure out who he is, not knowing that. Well, Red Hood, I should say, and Red Hood, not knowing that he is Jason Todd. So I think they're just honestly going to probably use that silhouette or the stunt double of who is going to be the Joker killing him, and that's going to be it.
Could be. Yeah, what's interesting too is like not only did they introduce the Red Hood, but they even introduced his replacement in this trailer too. I'm not sure if you guys caught a peek, but there was a gentleman somewhat crying when they heard the news that, Robin is now dead. That was Tim Drake, the third Robin. Now, we're up to 3 Robins in 3 seasons here. It's like it just keeps feeding to my point of like I think they're burning through too much story so quickly, but I don't know. It kind of reeks of a little bit of desperation on my side. I don't know. I'm excited to see a new season. Obviously, the pandemic delayed it a little bit there for us. We would have got a little bit sooner, but I'm going to go into this cautiously optimistic here. Okay, we'll leave it at that there. All right, Tank, what do we got left in the fandom bag, sir?
Next, we got Mr. Superman himself, Henry Cavill, returning for the season 2 trailer for The Witcher.
Ooh.
So, I'm your destiny?
You're much more than that, Cirilla.
I need to understand some things.
The world is changing. Centra isn't safe for you anymore.
What exactly is Cameron?
You're home. Finally. Who the hell are you?
Sometimes I feel so afraid. I feel like I could burn the whole world.
Facing your fear is not easy, but I am here for you. When I say run, you run. When I say hide,
We have to stay.
you hide. Run! Vesemir said that the world outside these walls is a dangerous place. But you can find power and purpose. Where is she?
What if your princess is more than you bargained for? Are you sure you're ready for this?
Welcome back.
And we are back.
All right, gentlemen. So we have just seen the Witcher 2 trailer. I am excited. Gentlemen, Henry Cavill, not Superman anymore, but with white hair and a sword and some really creepy eyes on Netflix. Okay. I have seen the first episode, the first season. I absolutely loved it. And I'll be honest with you, gentlemen, like I wasn't completely sold on as Henry Cavill as an actor after watching Superman a couple of small roles. I'm going to be totally honest.
Oh.
But once I saw The Witcher, I am now a fan of Henry Cavill. I do not want to see anybody else as Superman besides this man. But we are here to talk about The Witcher. So, Clark, we're going to start with you first, seeing as how you are the Superman specialist. Sorry, Tank. He's got to be special at something.
Oh, I know.
So, that being said, Clark, I mean, what's your impressions of this first trailer we've seen for this new season?
I'm really excited. I actually loved the first season of The Witcher. I mean, there were some issues here and there, but man, overall, he really knocked it out of the park. Henry Cavill, I thought he did an amazing job. I think, you know, some of the challenge Henry Cavill has to do with the way he enunciates and he presents himself in a non-English accent. So I think that's what you may be going with, where it sounds a little wooden sometimes. But like when he's in his native tongue, I mean, this guy can really spit bars, and he can act and do a really great job. He did it in small, not a small, but a family film called Enola Holmes, which is Sherlock Holmes's niece, I think it was, with Stranger Things. Millie Bobby Brown, and he was in it as well as Sherlock Holmes. So they're doing a sequel to that already. But he did an amazing job in The Witcher, and I just think that this one is going to be really good as well. I'm very excited about it, and like I said, this just elevates my excitement watching this trailer.
Do you think with the rise of popularity of Henry Cavill in the Witcher series, do you think that's going to open up more doors for him to maybe talk to WB about possibly reoccurring back as Superman? Because we do have some news that Tank's going to share with us later.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't think it has anything to do. First off, you know, he could not be as in right now, hot right now, than he is now.
So hot,
right. He is on.
Henry, so
he's
hot
got
right now.
a lot of things going for him, and and he's definitely in a great position to for people to want to use him in their roles in the movies. Now, I don't think that has anything to do leverage wise with Superman. I think if Warner Brothers has tons of money, they'll pay him. You know what I mean? I just think what's happened here is just timing. It didn't help with the pandemic, delays, things like that. So I'm not certain that, one way or the other, that we're going to see him as Superman again in the red boots and the cape. So we'll see. But I'm excited to see The Witcher season 2. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Spike, you, sir. I mean, hey, what are your thoughts of season 2 here with The Witcher?
Hey, man, I'm really actually excited to see it. Unlike a lot of guys, I know the whole thing about Henry Cavill. I didn't really feel like he couldn't do the role. I game, you guys know that. The Witcher game, the first one was okay. The second one I couldn't really get into heavy enough. So I was very skeptical about the show in general. And season 1, he sold me, lock, stock, and barrel. He did an amazing job, and I was very happy with the show. But this one looks like it's going much deeper here. And I feel Henry's kind of sinking his teeth into the role. He's a lot more comfortable. I think he knows which way to go with it. And I think it's going to be a lot more smooth and fluid as far as accents like Clark was just mentioning, but also just how they go about it. Even in stories and shows like this, from what we see so far, it looks like the writing's going to be better too. So I'm excited to see where they're going with this here. I think Netflix has got a gold mine on this one.
Yeah, it's a good point there. I mean, keep in mind, Henry Cavill is, ladies and gentlemen, a closet nerd. Not so much anymore. He's let his nerd flag fly.
Absolutely.
So we respect you for that one there. He's a big fan of the video game series, and that's the reason why he really petitioned to get this show on and going. Of course, he wanted to play the main character. Why wouldn't he? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, yeah, I'll be honest with you. I never played those games. I'm a gamer as well, too. And I can tell you right now, after watching the show, I did go back and start playing some of the game. It's really good. It's really long. I'm picking at it little by little. I got a job. I can't be playing video games all day long.
Gotcha.
But that being said, that's a great point there, Spike. So, Tank, leaving it with you, sir. Season 2, will you be tossing a coin for your Witcher? Your thoughts?
This guy.
I'm gonna throw a whole bag of coins.
You throw a bag of coins? Okay.
But yeah,
hey, that went viral for a while. Don't forget that.
Oh yeah.
Don't forget that.
I'm really excited. I'm really excited for season 2. I really like the season 1. Only issue with season 1 was like the couple episodes like where it went back in time, but it didn't really tell you it went back in time. So once I realized that and rewatched it, I was like, okay, this is a lot better than I thought it was. That was better than I thought it was at first. But yeah, I mean, like I say, Henry Cavill, he's one of my, as I've said before, he's my Superman. He's one of my favorites. Like I said, I remember when I first heard of Man of Steel coming out, I went back and watched the movie Immortals that he was in. Just I had to see who was playing Superman, of course.
He was shredded in that movie. Shredded.
Yeah.
He was a fucking animal.
He was shredded. He just wasn't like as bulky as
right.
He is.
He was just shredded. Right.
Yeah, he was still shredded. Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for this. I can't wait for this to come out.
Cool, man. All right, I like it. Well, yeah, we're all excited about that show there. Do we know when it's coming out?
I want to say July. So it's end of the month, like July 29th or 30th.
Couple of weeks.
Couple weeks. Okay, good. We'll be on the lookout for it. I'm excited for that. Look, we
Absolutely.
got Titans. We got Witcher season 2 there. Okay, well, good.
And of course, House of Fandom will definitely be reviewing it because we cannot go without reviewing The Witcher.
Great for us anyway, guys. Because remember, Man of Steel comes out too. I think on the 23rd. Not Man of Steel. Masters of the Universe. Sorry.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, don't play with my emotions.
I know. I was like, what? Do we get a surprise?
I didn't write that down for news tonight. What? Okay. All right, well, good, Tank. Well, hey, what do we have for Fandom news coming up next?
All right, final trailer is we have the new trailer for the movie Free Guy with a special guest by my spirit animal, Deadpool.
All right, let's play that trailer. Let's take a look.
Daddy needs to to express some rage.
Well, hello there, and what's up, Reaction Faction? It's Deadpool. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button and follow me on Patreon. Last week, you all really liked my Cruella trailer reaction video. Where are the f***ing dogs? So, this week, I'll be reacting to a trailer for a movie which I honestly thought came out like a year ago. Free Guy. Apparently, it's this August. We also have a guest reactor this week, Korg, who was not my first choice, but apparently everyone else was too busy over on Disney+. Say hello, Korg.
Hello, I'm made of rocks. Thank you for having me, Paul. Sorry you're dead.
Jesus Christ. Let's take a look.
My name is Guy.
Oh, he's named Guy, like the movie's title.
That's pretty clever. Is it?
I've got a best friend.
This is the greatest cup of coffee of all time.
Mondays, am I right, Joe?
You said it,
Okay,
guy.
let's just pause for a second to let everyone comment first, or this trailer gives away too much, or Ryan Reynolds is just me, which is super insulting, by the way. All done?
And I work at the bank.
Everybody down on the ground!
I thought I had everything I needed. But then I met her.
Oh, Jodie Comer.
Foster.
God, I love her so much. Oh, I hope they don't fridge her.
What's fridging?
Well, it's the practice of killing off or hurting a female character in order to motivate or torture the main character, also known as Deadpool 2. Thank you for asking.
Ah, we call that bridging.
Everybody down on the ground. Everybody except you.
Me?
There's something inside you, Guy. They expected you to just fall.
It's like a hostage situation.
More than that. Put these on.
Okay, fine.
Oh my God! What are these, trick glasses or something?
It's about trick glasses. The glass tricker.
This world, it's a video game. You're not real.
Reset my...
I'm the guy responsible for this world.
Any thoughts on our villain, Korg?
Looks like he's got 4 arms, and the 2 lower ones have got gloves on. I like him.
You have a Disney Plus show, don't you, face? Oh, God. Ooh, trademark infringement.
Doesn't that mean that nothing you do matters?
I am sitting here with my best friend trying to help him get through a tough time. Now, if that's not real, I don't know what is.
I know this world is just...
Oh, look at him go. That little blue shirt. Oh, his face is so punchable.
Thanks, guy.
I'm gonna be the great guy.
Well, enjoy your lifetime supply of virginity. Off you go.
This whole good guy routine is ruining the game.
Woo!
Terminate him.
That's Taika Waititi.
He seems quite nice, actually.
Or Rabbit.
Maybe this is the live-action thumper we all haven't been waiting for.
Jump! Jump! Jump and catch the ball! No. Oh, useless.
Wow, body airbag. Love it.
I can't die!
Something bad's gonna be up. There you go. Okay, this looks fun in a last days of Fox fire sale kind of way. Not sure if it was worth diverting Canadian Cumberbatch's little mind away from my next movie, or you know what? I'm gonna give it. I'll give it 4 out of 5 avocados. Korg?
I was raised by avocados.
Oh my God! Just kill me now. Any tips on getting into the MCU there, Korg?
Have a dream, chase it, lose that dream, just sabotage all sorts of happiness in the pursuit of that dream, climb up to the peaks of that mountain, and when you get to the top, land at the bottom and realize you're never gonna achieve that dream, and at that point, check your emails. Maybe you'll get something from your agent saying, Marvel wants to talk.
Yeah, I prefer Dark World. Half a f***ing penny of you for this
All right, guys, we are back. Danny.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we were just treated to another mastermind marketing ploy by the Ryan Reynolds, Van Wilder, Deadpool. I'm not sure if I want to play a Green Lantern guy. Man, like, I know we're supposed to talk about the trailer itself there, but can we just take a moment to appreciate the genius of Ryan Reynolds here a little bit? I mean, the man is dressed as Deadpool, reviewing his own future movie, and as a little Easter egg, he's sitting with Korg from Thor. I mean, my gosh, man, I didn't even care about the trailer. I was just like, oh my gosh, Ryan Reynolds is next to a Disney Marvel-owned character. This is really going to happen. He's really in Disney. What the hell is going to happen with Deadpool? Tank, I mean, you're a Deadpool lover. And
yes.
Absolutely. I mean, I love Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool. I mean, tell me, did you care about the trailer at all? Were you just more psyched to see Deadpool there? I mean, what did you think when you first saw this trailer?
Holy shit, that's Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool.
Right?
I didn't. I thought it was fake at first. Then I was like, oh, that's really him. No, it's really him.
Yeah. I mean, wow. Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, Spike, I mean, yourself, man. I mean, what did you think about having this trailer here? I mean, did you care about the trailer? Did you care about Deadpool? I mean, did you like both?
I love Ryan Reynolds, so I was interested, but it was like you said, it's exciting to see Deadpool next to an actual Disney character, which was taboo for so long. The idea of him being there is just like, okay, we're really going to see some magic happen and keep going with him, because I don't believe he would do Deadpool any other way than he normally does. So it made it all around exciting for me. All around exciting. Like from Deadpool to even the cute little movie. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it was cool because, I mean, Korg is not only just a great character in the Marvel Universe, but he's also voiced by director Taika Waititi. So, I mean, it's kind of cool because they're kind of friends. They did do Green Lantern. Not many people remember that they did do Green Lantern together as well, too. So, kind of interesting the two of them decided to do this trailer together, but he's also in that new movie Free Guy that he was promoting there, which, by the way, looks pretty good. Let's not hate on the trailer.
He's actually directing it, too, so just so you know.
He directed this new movie, Free Guy?
Yes.
When does the man find the time? I mean, he's doing great movies already. I saw his oh my gosh, it's his movie. It was something called Rabbit something. I can't forget what it was, but he won an Oscar for it recently.
Oh.
Really good movie. I can't think of the name for some reason.
Is that the commentary /
Run Rabbit?
Yeah, Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit
about Hitler or something weird like that.
It is, but it's not. It's a great movie. Extremely funny. This man is a weird dude. He can make other things that are inappropriate very funny. So, makes perfect sense. Those two are commercial. So, but Clark, your thoughts on this trailer here? Did you like the trailer? Did you care? Were you just focused on Deadpool? Your thoughts?
I mean, Free Guy was a movie that I actually was interested in watching when the first trailer dropped over a year ago when it was supposed to premiere in the summer of 2020. We know COVID took care of that, and so I to see it back again, and of course I thought they used the Mariah Carey song Fantasy like perfect, you know what I mean, like in this entire trailer, but I thought it was really cool that Marvel is basically and I always look at we all know that Disney owns 20th Century Fox, which is distributing Free Guy, as well as obviously the Marvel Universe. It's all under that umbrella, Lucasfilm, what have you. But it's pretty cool that they are starting to now integrate the character of Deadpool into the marketing of other movies and vice versa, and the synergy between using a Marvel character from Thor into this as well, considering they're both actors in the movie Free Guy, you know what I mean? Like it makes sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I thought it was super cool. Anything that Ryan Reynolds does recently is fun. And, I enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to the movie, but I'm mostly looking forward to see what they do in the next Deadpool.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we all are. I think everybody's excited to see what kind of mischief Deadpool can get into now that he's in the Magic Kingdom. Let's call it that.
Without a
Let's
doubt.
call it is there. All right, good. Well, hey, we can talk. I mean, listen, I'm excited about Deadpool. I'm sure you guys can probably tell, but we do need to move on here. Tank, what do we have next for fandom news here?
All right, we're gonna done with all the trailers. First story that we have here is good old Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson released the first little set photo from Black Adam and showing him in the suit. And spoiler, he does not need a muscle suit like all the others.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. And absolutely right. He does not need a muscle suit. But let me ask you something, Tank. And I know I just kind of jumped in right away. What's up with the guy in the bottom sweeping up the floor? So is this a behind the scenes photo? Like, what are we supposed to get out of this picture here that we're showing the audience?
I'm pretty sure Rock just wanted to show everyone, one, how he looks in the suit, and two, that that they are actually finally filming. And
Right.
have enough filmed for them to actually release a photo.
Right. It's hard to really decipher though, since he's got his back behind us.
Yeah.
So he is wearing the Black Adam suit, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I don't see a cape on it. I thought that Black Adam had a cape.
No, that's Shazam.
Oh, okay.
Black Adam doesn't have a cape.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm excited about it. I get worried though that The Rock is overworking himself. You know what I mean? Because he's in so many movies. You know what I mean? I'm concerned that he is overextending himself. I hope the quality does not degrade over time because he's just spreading himself too thin. We've seen that happen with action stars before.
Mm-hmm.
He's always been like that though. Like he always just has a million things coming out and going on.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah, definitely. What else you got?
Well, let's dig into a little bit more because we still haven't gotten Spike's opinion on this as well, and I haven't said anything. So, I mean, the hell, Clark, come on, man.
Well, I didn't hear anybody talking, so I mean, I had to speed up the process. So I'm glad you woke up. So here we are. Go ahead, let's go.
Millisecond to react over here, but okay, pal. Well, listen, we can confirm that it's not a painted on suit. The man does have muscles. He doesn't need a little padding on this one here. I wanted to really talk about this one here too because, the big thing about it is not only the fact that we're getting Black Adam here, which by the way, The Rock just posted right before we went on air to record this here. The filming has already been wrapped on production on Black Adam as of today. So he put out a nice little video on social media. So it is officially in the books. We're going to get this real soon. That being said, as far as speculating, we don't know anything about the movie, right? We've heard rumors. Obviously there's connections to obviously Shazam and Black Adam. There's connections to Superman, which is kind of what I wanted to talk about here. So, Clark, you kind of said earlier, you're not sure if it's going to be a Henry Cavill return here, but I'm not sure if you know this about The Rock and Henry Cavill, but they're actually really good friends. And more importantly, they share the same agent as well, too. So I actually want to go to Spike here real quick. Spike, Noli/Clark, just kind of let out the bag. He's not sure if it's going to happen or not. And obviously, I'm sure he wants it to. But, knowing kind of the inner workings of Hollywood here is how these two have the same agent. And The Rock has been, really campaigning to fight Superman at some point. Do you think we get a return of Henry Cavill here in this movie?
Yes. And I'm going to say why. Even if they didn't have the same agent, they're friends. The Rock is known as a pretty loyal guy for his friends. And as of the last, 4 or 5 years, he is Hollywood. I don't see him not doing this, knowing that Henry Cavill wants to be Superman, knowing that they need to make new movies with Superman. This is just yet another boost coming right off the heels of the Snyder Cut, with people seeing him again and in the black suit. If you see him in this film doing well against The Rock, one of the biggest action stars of all time, it gives another boost and push to say, Warner Brothers, you got to start making these movies. And I don't see how he wouldn't pull that with his buddy. I don't. I really do believe we're going to see him. We may not see him a lot in the movie, but we're going to see him. That's what I believe.
Good. I like it. Tank, yourself, obviously, I do want to know if you feel like Henry Cavill has a great opportunity to come back in this new Black Adam movie. But I also want to talk about kind of the accuracy of the character. Because one thing I always liked about the look of Black Adam is kind of he has these kind of pointy ears. Kind of like a widow's peak kind of hair. I don't know. I don't think we're getting any of that. I think we're just literally getting Dwayne The Rock Johnson in a black suit, and his name is Black Adam in this movie. I don't know. Do you feel like they should have gone a little deeper and kind of made him a little more comic accurate, like they did with Shazam? Or are you kind of happy with the way he kind of looks and portrayed in this new movie here?
I'm happy with how because I like The Rock, and and Black Adam, for sure he's an Egyptian, so. Rock with how, with being half black, half Samoan, he fits that look. his widow's peak. I mean, it would have been hilarious to have seen someone with a widow's peak and the pointy ears in real life. But,
I wanted it. I was trying to bump out.
Man, they might do the ears, but I don't think they'll do the widow's peak. But they might be able to do. They might do the ears. As far as Henry Cavill, I don't. If they do something to get him in, I think it would be like towards the end or in like a post credit scene. Because with this being like as a introduction of Black Adam, this would have to be because Black Adam was first when he for the Shazam comics, he first came out like a long time ago, like ancient Egypt days and all that. And he's going to, I know he's going, they haven't released too much about the story, except for during a DC Fandom that happened, like a year ago. He's going to be like, they're going to have the Justice Society in this movie, Dr. Fate, Hawkman, I think his name's Atom Smasher, a bunch of people from Justice Society. And they're like an older, like a team that was back before like the Justice League back in olden days. So this is, I think, I'm pretty sure, I don't think they gave like a time frame. I think this is going to be happening like, way before, Superman or any of them would have been thought of. That's for that reason, I don't think he'll be in the movie, like prevalent in the movie. But if Rock can do his magic and get him, it would be like, it'll be like at the end. Kind of like what they did with Captain America, where like at the end or the post credit, they jump to present day.
Right.
And then they introduce either Henry Cavill or Shazam, or Superman or Shazam, which probably be better to do Shazam since they're more connected, unless they decide to do both of them.
Yeah, it is a safe play if you decide to go with Shazam, Joe, only because Shazam 2 is on the horizon as well. Mm-hmm. And I know we're speculating, I know we're being hopeful about a return to Henry Cavill's of Man of Steel, but I mean, WB has done weird things, and there's been rumors for years that the two parties don't see eye to eye. So I'm hoping that Mr. World's richest Hollywood actor last year has some pull and can get my boy Henry in, because like I said, after Witcher, I became a big fan of his. Clark, for you, sir, as far as your thoughts on this movie here, do you think with a superstar like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, do you think this might be an awesome vehicle to get Henry Cavill back into the DCU?
Well, first off, great points by the panel. Definitely, you hit some really great points. Spike, definitely, I hear you as far as like, wanting to see Henry Cavill come in to this movie. Tank, I know you're a little bit more hesitant to it, and I think you share the same sentiment that I do, in that the reality is that as big as a star, arguably the biggest right now, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, is, I do not believe it has to do with as easy as it is to just say, hey, let's get him in the movie. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think that there's a lot of world building, and at the end of the day, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, is still being paid to star in the film. And so you have billions of dollars of properties, Superman, etc. So world building wise, they may very well, it may not happen. I'm not certain. To be honest with you, my sources in Hollywood have said a few different things on the matter. One, Dania, who happens to be her first name is Dwayne Johnson's ex-wife, as well as his agent, who is also the agent of Henry Cavill. So we all know the relationship there. It's all great. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen in this film. Let's remember, it didn't happen with Shazam. And the reason it didn't happen, it came down to dollars and cents. So Warner Brothers weren't willing to pay Henry Cavill what Henry Cavill at the time thought he was worth for the cameo. So they ended up doing a body double, and we saw what happened there. It was just an after scene. Now, if they do get Henry Cavill, I don't believe it'll be a cameo. I think it'll be a small role, probably in the third act, because Dwayne Johnson has gone on to say him and Superman need to fight in a movie. You know what I mean? So him as Superman, him as Black Adam. So if it happens, I don't think it would be a wasted thing, because remember, at this point, a cameo does no justice if we're moving on from Henry Cavill, which I believe Warner Brothers is moving on from Henry Cavill in the future piece. I still think there's a possibility to have him in some supporting capacity in some roles, but I do not feel like we're going to get a full-on Superman movie with Henry Cavill, i.e. Man of Steel 2. I just don't think it's going to happen at this juncture. Now, if it happens with this film, Black Adam, I think it would be more or less in the third act, and it would be a here's what if you really want me to give you some spoilers here, this is what my sources are saying. This is actually coming from very, very reliable sources that report to Deadline Hollywood, and what they're saying is that the thought process would be that they would use Black Adam would actually be fighting the bad version of Superman in a alternate, whatever, or like however they're going to do it, multiverse or whatever, and then flip back into, the reality piece. So I think that's where you get him fighting, but it wouldn't be Superman as we know it. It would be the bad Superman. You know what I mean? The bad Superman we saw at the post-credit scene of the Snyder Cut with the Joker, and things like that. So that's what I've been hearing. So if it does happen, it'll be that'll be the actual trigger point to where they fight. It would be him fighting a bad Superman from, the Snyderverse, if it happens.
That's an interesting take there. I mean, either way, we can get Henry back on the screen as Superman in some form or another. I think the fans would really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. I do.
And I think at the same time, you bring up a good point. I kind of in a way agree with WB. I can't believe I'm saying this, but at the time, when Shazam was out there and he was they wanted to do the whole cameo thing, and obviously dollars and cents, like you mentioned it, his stock wasn't exactly high. Let's remember, as much as we're fans here, we also have to remember critics and reception from the general public. Man of Steel was mixed. I think it was it's probably considered one of the better DCEU films. Mm-hmm. But then BVS, the reception was awful for that there. You brushing your hair.
Well, listen, the reception was awful, but it made almost $200 million in profit. So
it did.
It wasn't that awful.
And it's super. I can't believe you just did that in the middle of my thought.
It's just okay. Listen,
okay,
sorry about your thought. Go ahead, man, because I want to ask you about that.
I heard it too. You could have muted.
The man is grooming his beard, man. Let him groom his beard. You're drawing too much attention to it.
You can do it in a mirror in your bathroom, not on YouTube.
All right, Danny. Sorry. Go ahead.
It's all good. But anyway, my point what I'm saying here is just that, we just talked about Cavill doing some excellent work with The Witcher. He's been in a couple other roles like the Sherlock Holmes Netflix film that was out there recently. His name has grown immensely in popularity there. So I think, from a business perspective, I think the WB can actually justify giving him a bump. He's been on record multiple times he wants to play Superman. He's never said he's not Superman. So why not? If you're going to bring somebody in the magnitude of The Rock into your world there, I think this is a great opportunity to take advantage of Henry Cavill and bringing him back too, and just give him a little bit more money.
Just remember this though. Superman in the comics is permanently 30. And Henry Cavill is almost 40. So I just don't think they're going to invest in having Henry Cavill move into another Superman film, but our best bet would be either in Black Adam or in Flashpoint in some capacity, in my opinion.
Either way, we don't know how long his tenure would be. I think we're all in agreement is that he could definitely play Superman a little bit longer. I
agree. I just think that they're not going to build. I think, and we agree, Danny. Don't get me wrong. When you mentioned that Warner Brothers is looking to invest in the future, they don't feel as though that this current iteration of Superman is their future. But I think that there's still things that should be done that would be really good, and I think they could do a really good job, in doing that. And his stock has risen quite a bit. I don't think he could carry a film like he used in the past. He couldn't carry a film.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like it bombed. What was the movie they tried to put him in? The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
I like that movie. The guy right. I like that movie.
Nothing wrong with the movie. The problem is, you're going to invest close to $100 million and it makes only $50 million in the United States. Yeah. It's a bomb. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that's the problem. And so let's be honest here. Like, streaming saved him as far as his stock. and of course his exposure to the DC universe. You know, when you look beyond that, there's really not much depth as far as him carrying a movie. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, fair
you
point.
Know what I mean?
That's no question.
Yeah.
I mean, the man hasn't had enough roles to really sink his teeth into. I think the fact that
it's not even that. I think it's just box office. Let's do dollars and cents. Carry a movie. If you're gonna put Superman front and center and not as a supporting role and spend over $250 million for it, you better damn well be able to bring in people in to watch the movie like they would with Dwayne Johnson. He brings people in.
I mean, keep in mind. Let's use prime example here. The original Superman, Christopher Reeve, after the role of Superman, you know, there wasn't a lot of roles that he really got in. He was a darn good actor as well, too.
Yeah, he was.
So with
he
a
was
guy
typecast.
He was absolutely typecast.
He was so good, he was typecast.
A lot of people fall into that, especially if it's your first big role there. So
I agree.
You know, with Henry Cavill's situation, it's a little bit more unique because simply the fact that, you know, he was an unknown cast as Superman. Not many people knew who he was. Heck, I don't think any of us in this panel did until then. We did our research. Tank watched the movie called Immortals I never heard of, but whatever.
He actually was in Tudors, HBO TV series. If you ever get a chance to see it.
I did.
Yeah,
see
it's
that
actually a
stuff.
pretty good show if you ever get a chance. I saw a couple of episodes just to see how he was younger. Pretty good show.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, my point being here is that, you know, there was not a lot of belief in this guy because no one knew who he was. And so usually if you have, let's say, take for example, a guy like Ben Affleck. Okay, Ben Affleck made kind of a career for himself before taking on the role of Batman. So, and he's done great roles after doing Batman as well too. So, I mean, it's a different kind of situation now because now Henry has gone out there. He's kind of put his stamp on something else that is not Superman. And now he can come back to this saying, hey, listen, I'm not just your Superman, so you don't have any negotiating with me here. Right. I can do things without you. You need me as much as I need you because I want to be Superman. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah, absolutely.
I got you.
So, I mean, but yeah, all that stuff, we can talk about this all day. I mean, I'm sure. Thanks.
Listen, we all agree we want him to be Superman again. We want him to have a swan song where he could actually sink into the role and actually do have a chance to play him again. We can all agree that definitely we would love to have that happen.
I think that as well, but also, and I'll say real briefly, Warner Brothers is just being a you know what, because Superman is a property that you could have given him a trilogy off of, and if you wanted to go in another direction, do it again, just like they're doing with Spider-Man, and people would still go see it because he's that beloved, as long as you cast him well. So if you wanted to go with a younger Superman, you could. He's only aged because they've been refusing to make these movies.
Well, right.
And they absolutely
I
should.
agree.
So I feel like that they're pushing him out, which is why I think they're beefing up back and forth. This is their fault. We love him as Superman. He's been great in the movies. They could go ahead and do it. But if not, stop dangling the carrot in front of us, man, and just go ahead and move forward if that's what you're going to do.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Great point there, Spike. Tank, I'm so sorry to keep you hanging. So I'm sure you got some more stuff in your fandom bag that you want to get off your chest, man.
My bad,
please. You should listen. Just for the record, you gave us Deadpool, okay? You gave us Henry Cavill, Witcher. You gave us Titans, and you also gave me a reason to talk about Superman coming back with Black Adam here. So this is your fault. You should have moved other things up earlier because you know this is stuff I want to talk about. But I will stand back here. Sir, please, if you will, what else do you have in the fandom bag for us tonight?
Next item in the fandom bag is Marvel has returned finally to the big screen, and Black Widow earned $218 million worldwide.
Wow. Those are big numbers, guys. Pandemic records I hear all around. I hear that domestically, Black Widow just crossed 100 million as of this morning. So that's big. First movie to do that. Largest opening since Star Wars. 2019. If you can believe it. We're in 2021. That is the largest opening we've had since 2019. Unbelievable. But I know not everybody in the panel has had an opportunity. We're not going to spoil it here or anything like that. We're not going to talk any spoils about the movie. Let's talk about the accomplishment of this here. So, I mean, Clark, for yourself, I mean, how do you feel hearing about a movie like Black Widow roaring to theaters this summer? Are movies back? Are the theaters going to be back now?
So that's a double. That is a fully loaded question, and I think the big issue, Danny, is that The optics on this, you got to see it from two angles here. One, Black Widow's opening was projected to be around 90 million. It ended up making around 80 million. Disney always kept it in the 80 million range, which was smart on them. But the reason for that, and the bigger issue that the theater owners are going to have, and the theater business in general, is that Disney is basically eating away from the box office by having it premiere day in and day with the Disney Premier Access. $60 million all went to Disney for the weekend for the Disney portion of it only. So that 200 million worldwide doesn't include the 60 million that Disney got handed to them over the weekend. And that continues to grow as more people purchase it. So I think that, one, I'm not certain that we're going to really truly get a accurate depiction of the box office potentials, because the theaters are being pretty much strong-armed into basically agreeing to these early adopted releases, where like HBO Max releases its films, like obviously this year they're doing it at least the first day and then in the theaters, and then also with Disney having a big success and reporting that success. Therein lies another issue as well, because you really do have the issue of, is the theaters really truly back, Danny? I honestly, it's a big question mark, and I don't think it's going to be fully answered until we get a movie that is a big draw, like a 4-quadrant movie that does not release on streaming as well.
That's a good point there. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good...
Or 9.
That's true. I was just going to say Fast 9 just did very well not too long ago there. I think right before we went on hiatus.
So the problem with Fast 9, and you know, I get very deep into the box office and the financials, is that it's the 20th movie or so of however movies, a 20-year-old franchise, but it has made $500 million. However, when you compare it to pandemic levels, it's trending to probably close out like around 800 million, whereas Hobbs and Shaw closed out at 7 before the pandemic, and you know that's going to be one of the lowest in the Fast movies because of the pandemic worldwide. It's a huge, it does huge numbers worldwide, but because the pandemic is still affecting many countries, it's just not doing as well as it could have done. So I think it's going to finish between 800-900 million, which is probably about 500 million less than the last one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, these numbers are going to be skewed. We know this kind of going. Not everybody's feeling comfortable going back to theaters. I know I myself personally am guilty of giving Disney part of that $60 million because I watched it from home. I didn't even feel like going. Not because, you know, I didn't feel like, I didn't feel safe going to the movie theaters. It's just a convenient source to have right there where I can just sit and watch it from my couch. I don't have to worry about somebody coughing on me if I was worried about stuff like that. So, but that being said, I mean, I was expecting big numbers from Disney Plus. I mean, Marvel/Disney were very, very serious about holding off and delivering Black Widow well over a year before it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be released well over a year and a half ago now. But they were very stubborn. A lot of other releases, despite the conditions of everything, already made releases. Marvel and Disney refused to do that. And it paid off for them big time. Because now, coming into this, we now have we call it now the pandemic box office record now. We don't call it anything outside of that. Everything is under a microscope of just what it's like right now in these conditions. This is a big success. I think we're looking at this the wrong way. I think the fact that the film made well over $80 million domestically at the box office, the actual box office, on top of the additional revenue that came in from Disney Plus Access, is a win in itself. It's a big win in itself there, because if the theater situation was still dire, then those numbers would be a lot more skewed towards the Disney Plus Access as opposed to I think people are feeling more and more comfortable going back into the theaters wherever they can. Obviously, not every country is the same, but our country here, I think it shows that there's a big sign that we're going to start going back to theaters more. And I project that there's going to be a lot more movies that do these kinds of numbers. I really, really do. So, but having said all that, I mean, Spike, I know you haven't had a chance to watch the movie, but I mean, now seeing the numbers for yourself, do you agree with Marvel's strategy in holding on to this movie for a whole year, or do you think they should have just gave it to us back then?
I think it was a good idea in a sense that it gave them an opportunity to really kind of test the waters with Disney Plus. Prior to the pandemic, before Disney Plus rolled out, when they were thinking about a lot of things and issues, you roll through the pandemic when everybody's at home, you roll out Disney Plus, and you see people's appetite, really good Marvel content with WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then of course rolling in with Loki. And it lets you know off the bat that, yeah, you absolutely made the right decision with holding on to this and letting it go, because they've solidified a fan base with the MCU. So people are eager to see any of those characters in the movies. I don't think that this is indicative of what we can expect from movie theaters in general. I think that people are going to reserve what they consider big movies to go to the movies, and streaming is just going to get bigger. I think that movie theaters will start to close, and it'll become a specific thing that you want to go and enjoy this movie and that experience. IMAX may get even bigger, things like that. But most people, like you just said, I think are going to continue to stream. It showed a lot of us that weren't aware during the pandemic how much we enjoy being able to do things in the comfort of our own home. And so studios, the movie theaters are in trouble with this, because studios are going to start demanding that period, that dual release with the streaming. They make all of the money on the back end on that. Like Clark just said, 60 million is a lot of money in the stream, bro, in that short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Right off
3 days.
You don't have to share.
Right. They don't have to share at all.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go ahead. You're good with it. That's what I'm saying. So I think that's where we head. That's our new future, pandemic or not. That's the direction we're moving in with streaming and that ability. But I would agree with you this, Danny. It's a win. It's absolutely a win for those numbers, especially with everybody knowing her fate and still going, that movie should have been out years ago. But that's definitely a win.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a big win. What will happen with the box office, the theaters, excuse me, time will tell. I think, but you bring up a good possible point here. I mean, a lot of more people are more comfortable, just streaming and watching it from home. The big, tentpole movie event, we haven't had one for a very long time. And I feel like this, plus the success of F9, I think has really brought people back. The summer blockbuster is kind of coming back. And maybe that's going to be the new model going forward. Maybe it's going to be these bombastic blockbuster style of movies that are going to be playing these big giant screens. And the more intimate movies and maybe the Oscar nominated films, they're probably going to do same day access, because let's think about this. You guys brought up a good point here. Now let's compare an action movie, right? Let's assume let's say Black Widow, for example, here, right? And let's say there was a movie like, I don't know, let's say Schindler's List. You guys remember Schindler's List?
Gotcha.
Okay, not everybody's watched that movie, right? But it's a very highly decorated movie. It's won countless awards there, right? Now, you put these two movies side by side, right? Do you say to yourself, hey, I'm going to watch both these movies at a movie theater, or would I want to watch the drama maybe in my house? Maybe I don't want to drive that far to go to a big screen just to see a movie like that. But I will drive because there's going to be explosions and car chases in this movie over here. Does it kind of make sense where I'm going with this, guys?
That's
like
exactly my point.
Maybe that's where it's going. I'm agreeing with you, Spike. I think that's where we're going to, possibly in the direction. But again, it's too early to tell. We've had two great successful hits at the movies. Each one broke a record after the other. So, but I'm curious to see how this plays out going forward. Let's see how it's going to play out for all the other styles of movies out there. Action movies, blockbusters are doing well. Let's see what happens when, it's a romantic comedy. I don't know if anybody's going to go back to the movie theater for that there. So we'll see. I know Tank will definitely go there for romantic comedies for sure. Like he will 100% get the movie theater.
Yep.
100%. Yep. Yep. And if you guys didn't hear in the beginning of the stream, folks, Tank is single and ready to mingle, as Clark has pointedly put out earlier today. Tank, obviously, I'm sure you echo a lot of our thoughts here. Let's move on here because we want to make sure we get to all the goodies you got in the fandom bag. What do we have next, sir?
Just one quick story here about it's actually related to the main topic or main event. After the first season of Loki, it actually has become the first of the Disney Plus Marvel Disney Plus shows to be officially renewed for a second season.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good point there. So I mean, Tangy, let's pick it off right with you here. I mean, are you excited? I mean, obviously we don't want to spoil anything for our review that we'll be posting out later down the road, but do you think the season itself would warrant a second one there? I mean, what do you think about having a second season of a Marvel series?
I'm excited. I mean, like I said, I don't want to spoil anything, but also there's other things that have been brought about, like about future movies that are gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it depends. I mean, I'm happy. I'm excited for the second season. Excited to see Loki more, see Tom Hiddleston as Loki. But also, as far as how they're gonna go with it, I am interested to see how the next batch of movies go before they, start talking about when it's gonna come out. But overall, yeah, I'm excited for season 2.
Yeah, good. I mean, gentlemen, I think we all can say so far that we're happy with what we've seen so far of the Marvel series out there. It's nice to see that we're going to be getting a second season of Loki. We'll figure out why a little bit later when we go through our review. But let's go right on to the next one here. Tank, if you can please tell us what's next in our Fandom Back, sir.
Next is The Crown and The Mandalorian lead charge for this year's Emmy Awards with 24 nominations apiece.
Wow. Okay. Well, I don't think any of us watch The Crown, do we?
Yes.
No.
You do?
Yeah, no lie. It's a really good show.
Right.
Even if you're not into the royals.
Clark, can you please mute Spike for this next segment?
Yep. I'm on it already.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, so let's talk about the part where we're House of Fandom here, and we're going to talk about the Mandalorians getting these nominations here. First of all, I'm happy you like the show. I don't want to disrespect you there, Spike. I'm sure it's a fine show. But the part about this one that seems interesting is the fact that Star Wars is making a big run at it there. 24 nominations, TV show platform, most by Disney so far since the streaming service has come out. It's a big deal there in the Star Wars universe. A lot of people and you fans are rediscovering their love for Star Wars with this here. So it's definitely showing that the critics agree as well too. It's a phenomenal show, and this is going to be an exact different conversation than what we were talking about with Black Widow, with the Marvel Universe. Star Wars is regaining its momentum, not by their movies, because their movies have sucked. I think everybody knows that. It's been well documented. The new trilogy has been terrible, and the fans are in uproar with J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy, the executive producer for Lucasfilms. But little by little here, I think with shows like The Mandalorian coming out for Star Wars, I think the MCU doing excellent work because they were nominated for WandaVision as well too. Actually, Don Cheadle was nominated. If you guys can believe, when we were covering Falcon and Winter Soldier, he was nominated for his guest appearance, which is about 100 seconds, they said. Yeah. And he got nominated for that. So that being said, the critics are loving what they're seeing on TV here. I mean, this is going to be the challenge. TV's been doing very well for the last 10 years, and it only continues to get better. The production values get higher and more expensive on comparison with other big theatrical viewings, like such as movies like Black Widow. That being said, Spike, if you will, sir, I mean, do you think having such high recognition for TV shows now, do you think that is going to play a part into what we were talking about a second ago with the box office as well too? We've had a lot of time to consume a lot of TV in these last 18 plus months. Do you think that this is a sign of the times changing, where TV is more of a popular platform than going to movie theaters, or do you feel like there's a chance that the theaters can make a comeback after something like the Black Widow that we just got?
I think it's going to have to be where the theaters have to share now. I don't think they'll ever be where they were. I think that, as you mentioned before, the quality of television, whether it be streaming platforms or even just regular shows now, has far exceeded what we were used to being thrown in the past, to the point now where it's a lot more entertaining and it gives you more to gather. Okay. You ever watch a great movie and when it's over 2.5 hours, you want more, you can't wait for the next. And these shows are coming out, man. They're giving you 10, 13 episodes, and then they're right back 6 to 8 months later. So it's feeding that impulse and that need that you have, and it's good TV. They're definitely giving the theaters a run for their money. I don't see them being what they were before. Like I said, to try to keep it short and sweet for you. They're no longer the big behemoth. They definitely have to share the stage now.
Yeah, absolutely. Clark, what are your thoughts about this here?
I think we're in the golden age of TV, streaming, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I think, when you have actual network television going into streaming, Peacock, Paramount Plus as a movie, company going to their formerly Spike TV, by the way. No pun intended, Spike. There was really a Spike TV show. I mean, channel. Right, you know what I'm talking about. But, I think the problem with the theaters is that it was really the theaters are at the mercy of the producers and the film studios that make the movies. And only movies premiere in theaters. So the problem you have is that we have become comfortable with watching a Godzilla vs. Kong at home, watching as you did recently, Black Widow. I would have had no problem watching Black Widow at home. I ended up getting 50% off on tickets. So I said, you know what? I wanted to watch it in the theaters. But honestly, I could have taken it or leave it. It wasn't like I was like, oh, I have to go there. Because frankly, there's a lot to be had to being at at your own home, because you could get comfortable, you could stop it when you want to if you need to get something to eat or relax or whatever, you could watch it multiple times. So I have some serious concerns with theaters. I think what's going to happen is theaters will still be around in a capacity, but I think gone will be the days of the multiplexes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, good. Tank, do you have anything you want to share on that point there? Or do you agree with the panel?
I agree with the panel.
All right, good. Well, Clark, you have something special lined up. So I'm going to let you take over there. So
I appreciate it. Appreciate the conversation with the Fandom News. A lot of great stuff there. I would be remiss to not mention that actually we had some recent celebrities or film director that passed away. Let me start by saying rest in peace to Ned Beatty, who was actually Otis in the Superman movies, as well as he was a great character actor in many, many movies. If you gentlemen haven't seen a 1970s movie called Deliverance with Burt Reynolds, and also yeah, Spike, you've seen it. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And I've seen it too. You need to watch it. It is really crazy. I'll just leave it at that. But I'll give you guys really quick. Deliverance is about Burt Reynolds' character as well as Angelina Jolie's dad. What's his name?
John Voight.
John Voight is in it as well, and then someone else. Actually, the guy from Beverly Hills Cop who played the chief. They go on this like rafting or wilderness excursion. Ned Beatty as well as their friend, and all kinds of crazy stuff happens when they meet up with the local Virginia woods people. I'll just leave it at that. It's and the crazy part about it is that it's not supernatural or anything like that. It's a survivalist film, but it's really gritty, and the realism of it is really intense. But anyway, there's a scene with Ned Beatty in it that is just cringeworthy. It really is. Anyway, Ned Beatty, rest in peace. He did a great job as Otis, which was Lex Luthor's henchman. But really, I wanted to also point out that we lost a legend, really, in the movie world. Director Richard Donner passed away on my birthday, unfortunately for me, July 5th, just a week or so ago, a little bit over a week ago, at the age of 91. And like I said, I would be remiss not to mention it. I know we plan to do a tribute of the many films, including Superman the movie, which is near and dear to my heart. But for those of you that may not know, other than Superman the movie, Richard Donner is responsible for the Goonies. Okay, so I mean, it's part of a lot of our childhood. The Goonies, Lethal Weapon. There's many films that he did. Obviously, Superman and Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut. there's so many stories about that Superman Donner cut that was never released in theaters. I'm actually showing some scenes that Richard Donner filmed from Superman 2 with Christopher Reeve, the late Christopher Reeve, and the late Ned Beatty. Here's a fun fact, gentlemen. Christopher Reeve and Richard Donner were filming 1977, okay, when the blackout of New York City happened. Superman was filming. Do you know that they still filmed while New York was being rioted and looted in total darkness, because they had their own generators for the film? So they were actually filming Superman on wires in the middle of Manhattan, while not even 10 blocks down the street, people were looting. So just a crazy story and some really, interesting anecdotes from filming of that iconic scene where Superman turns into where Christopher Reeve reveals himself as Superman, and that was just one of those iconic moments. So Richard Donner, a great man, a great director. Do you boys have any feelings about the films of Richard Donner? Any favorites, Danny?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I knew of Richard Donner because the notorious Donner cut, right? I've heard of that for so many years. I actually talked to you guys off camera about this. I was so surprised there were so many movies that I grew up that I absolutely enjoyed. I had no idea it was him the whole time. I mean, Goonies is one of my all-time favorite movies as a kid growing up. Lethal Weapon series. I had no idea he was the brains, because it's so different from Superman and Goonies. Like, the guy could do it all.
Omen. He was the guy behind the Omen.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many movies that he has credit for that I had no idea was him. And it's
16
kind of
Blocks with Bruce Willis. Do you remember that one, Danny?
That was a great movie too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that as well too. Kind of going through his catalog of films there. So yeah, I mean, obviously not knowing it at the moment that much, I kind of link him to Superman, but then realizing and looking afterwards, like, man, we lost unbelievable talent, after all these years. So yeah, definitely.
I mean, yeah, had a long life. That much I can say. 91 years old. That's nothing to sniff at. And actually, he was in his late 40s when he made Superman the movie. So that should tell you something. The guy's lived a long time. He certainly has. Tank, what are your thoughts? Any of those films really stick out to you as obviously Superman, but as memorable?
Possibly being Lethal Weapon, and maybe I didn't see it till I was I want to say 18. Goonies probably not one of my favorites, but I didn't see it till I was 18. But I had no, like I say, I'm not as knowledgeable on directors as you and Danny are. I had no idea that he made all those classic movies.
Oh yeah, The Toy. I mean, that one, while it may have been, not a critically acclaimed one, it was definitely a box office hit with Richard Pryor, the late Richard Pryor, and Jackie Gleason. It's a raunchy movie. Let's just put it that way. And it's really something that would never, ever be filmed today. I mean, oh no. I mean, Spike, you're shaking your head. What are your thoughts on the passing of Richard Donner, but also The Toy?
I kind of echo what you guys are saying as far as, he did live a very full life.
Right.
Very talented director. I was aware of a lot of his movies, but I'm still surprised at some of them that come up on the list that I didn't know about. Of course, my favorites, being an action guy, was the Lethal Weapon series. I mean, I love Lethal Weapon. There's so many great one-liners, actions, different things that's happening. The guy's definitely diverse. He can go from one range to the other. The Omen scared me a long time ago, and I never watched it again, but had no idea till recently that was his film.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a testament to what the guy could do. I mean, he was amazing.
Absolutely.
Truly an icon in Hollywood.
Oh yeah, and really a pioneer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize this, but he actually started out. He made his bones on TV. So his television career is very, very prolific. I mean, we're talking about, just to give you guys some of the things I'm reading, the Twilight Zone, the infamous Twilight Zone, where the guy's in the airplane and the Gremlins on the Wing. He directed that episode. The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Gilligan's Island, Perry Mason, Get Smart, The Fugitive, The Wild Wild West. These are all TV series that he made, that he actually directed. So he definitely has been around for a long time, and we're definitely going to miss his contributions. And so we have a tribute that we're going to play. It's 2 minutes long. It's compliments of Adil Steele, and I'm going to go ahead and play it right now.
Dick has a talent because of the things that are in him as a person. He wants to believe in those myths. And when you can make an audience believe that what's happening on the screen, even though it's totally extraordinary, that this is actually happening, that's when you have verisimilitude.
I have a sign to this day in my office of Superman flying through the air and dragging a sign by him that says verisimilitude, because this story had to have its own honesty. Everybody had to believe it was real.
Oh, what do you want to hear, man? Do you want to hear that sometimes I think about eating a bullet? Well, I do.
You'll kill it while it slumbers in the womb. In God's name are you talking about? The son of the devil.
The films Dick made inspired me to want to go down that track. And of course, in particular, Superman the movie is still to this day the archetype of the perfect superhero film origin story. And we watch it before we make almost any one of our films.
I want to do for Batman what Dick Donner did for Superman back in 1978.
He's
As a
wearing
kid.
good taste.
Well, perfect.
When I worked for Dick, he said, I have to save Superman. And he made the greatest superhero film still, ever.
Dick Donner is the biggest kid on the block. And his sense of playfulness really is what gave the movie its magic.
That'll be the day when a guy can fly, huh?
What we have for today's episode of Fandom News. But, if you like what you're hearing and you want to hear more of our Fandom News, please like and subscribe to the channel. That's the House of Fandom. We appreciate the support. It helps the algorithm gods with YouTube. So if you just found us now because you were just browsing, just hit that like and subscribe button. We surely would appreciate it. And check us out at the House of Fandom. Full episodes premiere every Thursday. Thank you. You guys have a great night, great day, wherever you are in the world. And
Cool.
go.
All right. So, gentlemen, before we get started here, I like to get everybody's view on this because we have been covering the series for a couple of weeks now. We did take a little break and vacation, desperately a little R&R. We need to energize our batteries a little bit. So we missed a few episodes. We're going to compile a little bit of all of them together, and then we're just going to grade the last episode that we just saw yesterday. Okay, gentlemen, first of all, welcome back to the channel. Glad everybody's all rested. Everybody looks fantastic. Let's get right into it, guys. I want to pick up right where we left off. We reviewed we reviewed episode 3. We left off there, and right after we left, we had a bombshell of an episode 4, and it really came back because we weren't happy about the last one we saw, but we sure as hell are glad we kept with it because the show became amazing. So, gentlemen, before we get into episode 6, just a quick recap of episodes 4 and 5 we didn't cover here. We'll start off with our man Spike. Spike, how did you feel about the episodes 4 and 5 that passed on before we get into this finale?
Great opportunity to bring the series back on home. Like you said, very disappointed with season 3. Episodes 4 and 5 were right back on par with what I saw at 1 or 2. They were action packed. There was a lot going on there. Had a lot of energy with it. Made me super excited about the show and what were, where the pinnacle was. I guess you could say we're heading to. So yeah, I'm right on par with it. It's
I
nice.
love it. I love to hear, man. My man Tank. Episodes 4 and 5. Listen, you and I were chatting back and forth when it happened. We were all down after episode 3. We're like, did we speak too soon? Was the show? We claimed the show was probably going to be the best series that Marvel has produced on Disney Plus. We were all down, and then episode 4 dropped the next day, and you and I were both hitting each other back up, and we were like, damn, why did we take vacation right now? But it is what it is. It is what it is, gentlemen. Tank, sir, if you will, how did you feel about episodes 4 and 5?
Well, first of all, I was the only one that actually, I had hope and still kind of liked episode 3. Like I said, I admit it was the weaker of all the episodes, but I saw, it was over. I still overall liked it and enjoyed it. Episode 4 came back in with a bang. It was like, you want to give me a 1? Okay, I'll show you. I'll show you how good we can be. Like I said, just with the Rick Creeper, whole lot of like, oh shit moments. Especially at the end there,
I know.
First, Mobius got pruned, and I almost had a moment where I had to go sit in the corner.
I was mad too.
but then Loki got pruned. I was like, oh, okay, everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Then we had the big reveal of all the Loki variants in the Void. What we call them?
Crocodile Loki there?
Yeah. Crocodile Loki.
You've been having a field day with him since that guy came out, man.
Loki Gator. Loki Gator.
Yes. Loki Gator.
Then, episode 5 came back in also with a bang. Could have used, I thought, the President Loki was going to be in there more. But saw Loki Gator just bite off his whole hand. So that was probably the best moment ever. But yeah, 4 and 5 came back in with a bang.
That's all. Yeah, I mean, it was bittersweet because we did need the break. We've been working pretty hard here at the House of Fandom, but yeah, listen, we didn't stop watching TV and movies, folks, after the vacation. Come on, that's what we do out here. But having said all that, Clark, you have been probably the most consistent out of the 4 of us here as far as your feelings about the show. And the last episode that we reviewed on air, you were a bit disappointed like the rest of us here, which obviously was a bit shocker for us because we know how much you've been liking the show. How did you feel about episodes 4 and 5 when you got back from vacation?
Well, everybody knows I didn't like the Ozzy and Harriet episode. Episode 3, that's what I call it. I just felt like we went super, super strong on the first 2 episodes and a sinister feeling throughout. And then the reveal and then the subsequent romantic comedy banter back and forth, I felt like took us out of the element of the film, or excuse me, out of the pacing and as well as how they were leading us through the first 2 episodes, where it was just like a really sinister presence. Now, in seeing the last, the 4th, 5th, and 6th together, I will say that I thought, definitely there was some course correction, done, but I didn't think that it didn't have issues, and I'll talk about them, for the finale piece of it. But overall, though, I definitely think that people need to realize with this type of show that there's a lot of exposition that's being done and a lot of background to really humanize Loki. And I think that if you're just expecting spectacle after spectacle, you're going to be disappointed. You know what I'm saying? And so, I thought that it definitely got better in the last few episodes and in the finale. But I still think there were some issues that I'll talk about when we go through the finale. But overall, though, I was pleased with the last 2 episodes, and I gave them both out of 5. I gave them both. Is that something we're doing right now?
Yeah, you absolutely.
Why not?
Why not?
I gave them both a 4. So I had some issues with each of the episodes. But other than that, they were definitely way better than the 3rd one.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, Clark. So, I'll throw my hat in the ring as well, too. I'm going to say 4 for both episodes as well, too. And we'll make sure we get everybody here. Spike, for you, sir, what did you feel about those 2 episodes? Quick rating.
Yep, 4. I was with it for the 4, absolutely. I think that's very fair.
Good. Tank, yourself?
I get episode 4. I give that a 5. And
Ooh,
then
like that
I'll
much.
go episode 5. I'll get that one like a 4.6.
Okay, fair enough. Hey, listen.
I didn't realize there was a point system now. I thought it was just 1 through 5.
I literally gave
been
it a point
doing that
system every time.
Okay, well,
this is why I don't talk.
All right. No. Listen, just talk, man. No one's telling you not to talk.
Can someone please email Clark the rules of the 5-star ratings that we do here? Okay.
All right,
I
fine.
may have an old email. I apologize. That may be on me. I created the system on that side, so I apologize. But I will forward you a copy, Clark, after we go off the air. I promise you. Please remind me.
All
Okay.
right, do that.
No problem. Okay, guys. So, without further ado, let's please get right into it here. Episode 6, season finale of season 1 for Loki. Gentlemen, a lot to unpack here in a big way and maybe in tiny ways as well too. I'd love to get the panel's opinion on this here. But let's start breaking down this episode piece by piece here. So, now that we've kind of got everybody back up to speed with episodes 4 and 5, we are now on a quest to find the person behind the TVA, person behind the variants, the person behind all the craziness that Loki and Sylvie have been going through this past season. We got our first chance to see none other, in a big surprise. Let's just say it out here. We just saw Kang the Conqueror. Well, he doesn't call himself that yet. Not this version of himself, at least. But this is the big bad of the MCU going into the next phase. What are we up to? Phase 4, 5? I'm lost track already at this point. Right? But
10.
Yeah, right. As many phases as there are Fast and Furious movies, apparently. So, having said all that, big reveal, not expecting it, at least on my part of it there. I'd love to get the panel's kind of first reactions, if you will, to seeing the big bad. We knew about Kang coming into the MCU because we've gotten reports that he is going to be in the new Ant-Man movie, and we were expecting to see him there. That being said, we got him on Disney Plus for free. I approve that, Marvel. Great job. So, Tank, starting with you, sir, what was your reaction when you got the big reveal that the new villain who is going to be, it looks like he's going to be terrorizing the MCU for the time being here. What were your thoughts on it, please?
When they showed him, my jaw literally dropped. Because, or you can go back, I said it was going to be Kang. I did say that, but I did not think that they would actually get the actor to be in it and have a good, he was in the whole episode. I did not think I thought they were just going to like mention him or like kind of like how they did Thanos in whichever Avengers that was, where he turned, when they first showed him.
It was the first one.
I think it was the first one. Yeah, and it wasn't what was his name? Josh Brolin. It was something. It was just like a stand-in. I thought it was going to be something like that. I did not actually think it was going to be the actual actor who's going to be playing him. So that my jaw dropped. I was like, oh shit, they actually got him in here. It was crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was a big shock across the board there. Spike, yourself, and what was your reaction when you saw Kang the Conqueror basically pop up on Marvel TV?
Dude, I suffocated, man. I just froze. Because like you guys, like you said, were going back and forth with 4 and 5. So I did a binge watch for 4 and 5, and then turned around and watched the finale on the day it dropped. And so I'm all, juiced and everything's going good. And then when I finally see him, I'm like, and I'm sitting there, like, it's real. Like, I'm waiting. Like, okay, this is like a hologram. Like, what's going to happen? Is this really happening here? And I just froze. Like, seriously, just froze. I couldn't believe it, man. I was like, okay, all right. This shows they like you said before, they were mad about the season 3 my rating review because they came with it.
Yeah, they had to kick it up a notch after they saw our rating the last one there.
God, bro.
Yeah, that's the kind of pull we have at House of Fandom. If you guys don't know out there in the YouTube universe, I mean, stick with us here. We'll get stuff done. Just give us some recommendations. We'll tell the big wigs. Clark, my man. I mean, you yourself. I mean, man, what did you think about this? I mean, did you think it was a good reveal? Did you think you were a little bit let down?
First, let me just say, I am so pleased with the actor that they chose because, as you guys know, I was talking about Lovecraft Country and how much I thought that was just like a crazy. If you guys haven't seen it yet on HBO Max, it's just one of those batshit crazy shows that you just have to see it to believe it. But it is really, this guy is getting his due, and I'm so glad that he is the big baddie because he's just a great actor. And I love great actors. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I mean, you get someone good in the role, you're going to do really damn good. And what I really like about it, and I think what really puts the tension in there, is that what you saw was not, it was just merely a glimpse into the gangsterness of this villain. You know what I mean? Like, this is nothing, dude. But the fact that he manipulated Sylvie so easily goes to show you that, you know, this is one badass mofo. So I am super excited. I did have concerns with the episode in general leading up to the reveal, because I just felt like a lot of going in circles and a lot of fluff was going on. So again, a lot of exposition before we got to that point. Because I really felt like, hey, you already have 6 episodes only. Like, don't wait till the last 15 minutes to do the reveal like that. You know what I mean? Like, devote the whole episode. But I get it. They wanted us to be shocked at the end and all that shit, you know? Kind of like, remember the movie Planet of the Apes when Charlton Heston's character is going, look what you did! Look what you did! And, you know, like the big reveal, like he was on Earth all along. So when we're introduced to Kang, I just was like, whoa. And then to see the statues at the end.
Yes, good callback. Yeah.
That was so crazy. That was so crazy, but good stuff. Man.
I absolutely thought of Planet of the Apes too.
Oh, absolutely.
That scene too.
Absolutely.
I think that had to be an inspiration.
Huge
that was
reveal.
Too on the nose.
Yep.
Yeah, but that was phenomenal. I love that there.
Yeah.
But I mean, this series, in my opinion, I mean, it really is going to set up the MCU moving forward. I mean, this is nothing to snooze about at all. I mean, I mean, not only was number one, like Clark said, the acting of Kang, unbelievable, but it's going to set up consequences for the MCU moving forward, because that has been the big secret, and also the biggest question I have, like, how do you move on after Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, all these huge names who have been doing this for 10 years? How do you top that? Like, how are you going to keep yourself at the top of the pecking order as a standard of, you know, bankable franchises like the MCU has been for the better part of 10 years when, you know, Iron Man is gone. Sorry, full spoilers for anybody who has not seen that in the last 2 years. Iron Man's gone. I mean, Chris Evans pretty much is not going to be playing Captain America, supposedly. I mean, you know, you got Black Widow, who, you know, spoiler again, she died, and then she got a sequel. She got a prequel afterwards. I don't know how that works, but it is what it is. And so now you're rebuilding your franchise without your franchise players. So how do you get people to invest in your movies and your series moving forward? You bring in a big character like Kang, and the actor, his name is Jonathan Majors. I had to look it up because I was so impressed by his performance. I knew of the guy by face. I knew of the HBO show that Clark was referring to, but I've never seen.
You gotta watch it, man.
Yes.
Batshit crazy. If you want to see aliens in the backdrop of 1950s racist Jim Crow era and aliens and all kinds of crazy shit happening on Earth, you need to watch that.
I am absolutely going to watch it now, because let me tell you, that performance from Jonathan Majors in this episode, I instantly picked up my phone after the show. I Googled the man's name. I was looking to see what I can find him in there. And I was like, he's not in anything outside of pretty much.
He's pretty much, he's an unknown that has blown up since that role.
But let's think about this second. He is going to be tasked with being the big bad of the next Marvel phase here. And he's pretty much an unknown. But now, after seeing him perform right now, I couldn't be more excited than to see this guy and see what he does, because this variant of Kang that we saw here was amazing. Absolutely amazing. The guy crushed it. Like, I'm not sure if you guys realize this, but we had an entire episode and Loki and Sylvie were sitting down talking. And I was just here at the edge of my chair, just kind of like this, just watching it there. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. But before we go into more details about that and what that means for the MCU moving forward, let's talk about what it means for the series itself and how the episode went here. So, starting with Tank over here, you mentioned Morbius before. You felt a certain kind of way after episode 4 when my man Morbius looked like he was biting the dust, and thankfully, we still got our jet skiing loving SOB out there. Thankfully, he's still around, right? But he came back to TVA and he faced what was her name? Judge, was it Rainer? Is her name?
Rain Slayer.
Rain Slayer. What a name! What a name! But hey, I mean, what did you think about his performance in this episode here? I mean, did you feel like he kind of went soft on her and she kind of went soft on him? I kind of got that vibe, like there's some feelings between them and they couldn't exactly, kind of, I don't know, they take the other out, I guess is what I'm saying here. Did you feel like it was kind of like the subplot of this episode, kind of the downfall of this episode? Because the stuff with Loki, Sylvie, and Kang, that was top-notch stuff there. Did you kind of feel like once you stepped away from them, the episode just kind of fell flat with the sub stories?
I mean, yeah, that part me because I said, I mean, it was kind of a pointless part of the story. I mean, I know they just wanted to have them to, have a little argument. I mean, I wouldn't say he went soft. I mean, even though he's obviously pissed that that she pruned him. And she's been, as if I've been lying to him all this time, but there's still all those however long he's been in the TVA, or they made him believe he's been in the TVA, I should say. There's still that underlying friendship that he's had. So I mean, no matter how you and your best friend get into a fight, you may no matter how bad it is, there's still that history where that would stop you from seriously hurting them.
Right.
So I think that's why he didn't actually prune her, and that's why she didn't prune him, because she had a chance to do it as well.
Yeah, she whooped him fast.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She whooped him fast. He didn't stand a chance.
Yeah. I did like the. Yeah.
Good point. So what prevented that? So, I mean, what do you think? What makes you? I mean, what prevented her from doing it again, though? Isn't it kind of weird that she did do it?
Finding out because she knew the TVA or everything was not what it was, and that was not the holy organism that was, but she thought the timekeepers were real. For as far as she said, I think it was in episode 5. Mm-hmm. She thought the timekeepers were real. So I think even though she knew TVA wasn't all holy and wasn't all holy, finding that out, I think that changed. And it's also she probably didn't like that she had to prune the first time. It probably couldn't bring her. I don't even think she did it the first time. I think she had someone else do it. So she probably just couldn't bring herself personally to do it.
Mm.
That's probably why she didn't prune.
Speaking of which, here, I mean, we did get the big reveal a couple of episodes ago that everybody in the TVA is a variant of themselves here, and Morbius made a point of connection to like a specific pen that was kind of like kind of a throwaway thing in the earlier episodes, and it was brought back in a way where we got to see her variant there on stage. I guess she was a principal at a school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you think it's a possibility that Judge Rainslayer, I hope I'm saying it correctly, the son, Judge Rainslayer, is it possible? Do you think she knew she was a variant this whole time?
Are you asking Tank?
I'm actually asking the panel here, so it's open to everybody. I'm sorry.
I absolutely think she does. I think she's known for a while, a lot more than she's led on. Whether she figured it out on her own or she was privy to that knowledge, because to your point, think about it. She kept telling him about that pen that she said there was another analyst that brought it. She's very secretive when it comes to him about different things, because he asks the most questions, Mobius does. But her behavior this entire time has led me to believe that she's always known more than what she led on. And even when she found out that the timekeepers weren't real, she wasn't flabbergasted as everybody else. She was more so like, okay, then who else was going on? Like, she knew more than what she led on, but she just realized she didn't know everything. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so I think
that
she absolutely knew she was a variant, but she didn't know how deep it really went, is what it was to me, anyway.
Yeah, she thought she was special because she had a secret.
Absolutely, which is why I think she wouldn't, because the tension that you guys are bringing up, in my opinion, I think that they definitely have a vibe for each other. Mobius doesn't know why he can't pursue. He thinks it's a leadership thing, but I think she knows that they can't go down that road together as a couple. She digs the guy, but she knows she can't go down that road because of what she knows with him. I mean, about the TVA and everything. And this was before everything even fell apart. just in my observation of it. But yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean that's a good point there. I mean, at the same time, I just feel like, when it comes to her and her motivations, there, it is kind of odd that obviously with the timekeepers not being actually beings that the TVA are reporting to, and she didn't seem surprised when she found the big reveal in that episode there at all, and kind of continued about her business like nothing changed there the whole time. So I think she did know of Kang Conqueror and some light there. I think I can't forget, what was it? Miss Minutes was her name. The clock.
Yeah.
Is that what her name was?
Yeah, Miss Minutes.
There's something on with that clock that's driving me nuts. I can't put my finger on it there because it's like so, minor in the background, but then it pops up at these times here. I feel like these are like Easter eggs we need to pay attention to.
Exactly.
But I mean, it was kind of weird. I mean, kind of like when they were going through that fight there, and she was going to download the documents. Miss Minutes kind of prevented her from downloading specific kinds. Did you guys notice that part?
Yeah, I think I saw this theory where Miss Minutes is actually working with the evil or Kang, who is
like a spy for that King variant. You mean?
Not the one, not this one, because this one, he's like based on one of the. Because there's a whole bunch in the comic books. There's a bunch of different Kangs, and there's one that's called a Mortis, who actually is like who's at the ruler at the end of time, and he's more benevolent because he got tired of fighting, kind of like this Kang. So I think this Minutes is actually secretly working with the evil Kang, who's going to be the big bad, in Ant-Man, Quantumania, and in the future, however long he's going to be the evil. I don't know if he's the bad guy in the next MCU Marvel movies.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got a theory about Kang. I'm gonna leave for a little bit later here because I don't want to spoil the rest of the show while we go over it. Clark, if you will, sir, I want to kick it off to you here because a lot happened this episode, but the next major plot that was going on as well was the confrontation between Kang and the two Lokis there. When it came to the whole situation with the relationship with Sylvie and Loki it continued to grow throughout the series. And at this point, it looks like it finally became romantic here. So my question to you here is like, do you think it's a little weird that Loki's in love with himself?
I can't say I'm surprised. That's for sure. But no, listen, at the end, it's the whole, we got to remember we're dealing with Loki and we're dealing with all these, variants. And so technically, if he's going to fall in love with anybody, it'd be himself. You know what I mean? But Sylvie, I'll be honest, I don't think she's a likable character at all. She just seems like she complains a lot, and she also happens to be a maniacal killer because she did kill a lot of people before we got to this point. But I don't know, man. I think for me that was probably the weakest part of the series, in my humble opinion. I didn't really like the whole Ozzy and Harriet thing. I don't think it was necessary to propel the story. You already were giving Loki the humanity that we were looking for with his relationship with Mobius as his friend. I don't think it was necessary to saddle him with a love interest and said love interest was supposed to be some, really badass variant of him. And, we find out it's like an Ozzy and Harriet thing. And yes, she's still a badass, but I just feel like that kind of messed it up for us a little bit by, kind of like I wanted her to remain the way she was. I could have pictured her totally killing Loki and not having an issue with it.
Yeah, it's a good point. And that's the thing though, because that's what Loki would do, right? But this is where I want to kind of get into theories with everybody here, because what Clark is saying is exactly what I was kind of thinking quietly as I'm observing these episodes go on. I think there's more to her story than what they're telling us on screen. I have a feeling, and that's the part where it gets me here. I have a feeling that Sylvie is not actually truly a variant of Loki. I don't think so at all. Because, we got a chance to see a lot of different versions of Loki, but they all fall into the same thing at the end of the day. The episode 5, when they had all the Lokis kind of fighting against each other because they started betraying, Obviously, Loki Gator biting off the arm. I know that's Tank's favorite moment of all time right now. He can't stop sending me memes about
and
that.
OG Loki was
OG was fantastic.
He was awesome, dude.
Oh
I love that actor anyway. He's that dude is classic. But like he was in Rocky Picture Show and some other stuff too. But yeah.
He's been around for a lot of stuff there. I mean, but I mean, all the same, he was phenomenal. I mean, I love the outfit as well too. That's when I see Loki in the comics back growing up, like that's Loki I remember personally. So I think that was a great throwback there. But my point where I'm going with this here is just that it seems that, with every Loki variant that we came across, they all were very similar in their course of action. Until Sylvie. Sylvie seems to have her own agenda because of the personal kind of trauma that she went through. She was captured as younger, she was detained, and she's been on the run on her own this whole time. Now, despite all that there, Kang brought up an opportunity for them to rule the TVA under his command there, essentially, so he can pretty much go into Kang retirement, as he was pretty much trying to say. So there was a line when Loki and Sylvie were fighting where they were kind of at odds on the decision that she made, whether they should attack Kang or take his offer. And it seemed like in that moment is where I kind of realized I think Sylvie is not a Loki variant at all. I think she might have been mistaken for a Loki variant by mistake, and pretty much is her own character there. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't Enchantress in the comics, isn't she like, I don't want to say she's a lover, but wasn't she almost like a sister to Loki at some point, and then they changed it to make it a lover at some point as well too?
No, I don't know exactly what she was, but she was like someone that he tricked into thinking she was an Asgardian. I can't remember what she was before. But he pretty much, did what Loki does and used her for his will and made her think she was an Asgardian. I don't know that she was ever a love interest with him. I know she was like a love interest for Thor, I believe, in the comic books, but I don't think she was. He might have made her believe that she was his sister or niece or something like that. Yeah. But I know for sure she wasn't like a love interest with him.
Yeah, I think what they did was they kind of combined two versions of Loki. Like there's a Lady Loki in the comics that's pretty much this Loki here, but after Ragnarok, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have the character of Enchantress here. I think they molded some of the storylines to intertwine, but now that we know there's going to be a season 2 to Loki, I think they're going to peel more back, Clark, as far as the onion of what her backstory is and the surprise of it. She's not a variant. Because even though they both believe they're variants, they're two very different people. Mm-hmm. And one thing we learned from the Loki centric episode, all Lokis do the same thing. They all betray and all that good jazz there. So that's my theory on that right there. But let's get to the offer. That's the most exciting part of this here. So Kang has revealed that there are a bunch of variants of himself who all learned and mastered this sacred timeline. And he's the one pretty much guarding it from the rest to stop a multiverse war, is what he called it there, right? So we've been hearing a lot about multiverse a lot with the MCU lately, and it seems like this is how this is all going to come about here. Mm-hmm. So you guys, your thoughts here. I want to start off with Clark for a second here. Clark, I mean, when you got the reveal that there was multiple enemy here, in Kang, that is, excuse me, what kind of potential do you see that by him now dead, what do you think that's going to impact in the Marvel Universe going forward, like in the movies and other TV shows that potentially down the road?
Well, I mean, I think, is he really dead? You know what I mean? Like, obviously this variant is, you know what I mean? But I think that was the plan all along, as Agatha would say. You get it? Thank you. Tank didn't get it. He's tired. I know. But Agatha, all right.
I got it.
Please, if you will.
All right.
Poor guy's got it back.
All right. So, I think that the plan was to manipulate Sylvie, and actually Loki was smart enough to not take into that, right? But Sylvie, unfortunately, her emotions dictated her decision making, and it proved to be a bad choice. And so, I just think that, again, we have so many different times.
I think we're gonna have multiple variants of Kang pop up in all the movies here. We have the big one that everybody knows about, Doctor Strange 2. We have confirmation that Scarlet Witch, Elizabeth Olsen's character, will be in that movie. We just found out today that Loki will be making an appearance in the movie. I'm not sure if you guys heard that yet.
Yeah.
Loki is now confirmed. We got some news about the Spider-Man movie that it's going to be coming out here. What is it called? It's not Far From Home. It's Homecoming. No,
No Way Home.
Thing about this here is I think Kang is going to be in multiple movies here. I think we're going to have different variants of him coming up in all the movies coming forward, because he did mention there he has a variant as well too.
Right.
That one was killed, but he states he'll be back, and I don't think he means literally. I think the other Kangs will come out to kind of take control of the sacred timeline. We saw branching of all the timelines coming up and through all that, and I think that is how we're going to get over to the next series of movies here. We know about Doctor Strange 2. We know Scarlet Witch is going to be making an appearance in that. We just got confirmation Loki will be doing it as well too. So it's, it seems like there's a potential that Kang is going to pop up in all the movies, but different versions of himself. What do you guys think about that?
I agree with you with the Loki. I'm sorry, with the different characters and variants. I think Loki's going to pop up actually in Thunder, Thunder, Rock and Roll, or Love, or whatever. Thor.
Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
I think that's a great perspective, man, and I think you're absolutely right with it. The way they show the timeline branching is almost like they just carved a path for you completely. There's so many different ways and he described intimately how his variants were far worse than he could ever be. So that saves Marvel from even have to find another villain. Each one of those variants will just be worse in another way in a different set of movies with different people to battle them. It's easy, but then also great and extremely entertaining.
Yeah.
So I think you hit the nail on the head with that one, bro. I really do believe that's probably how it's going to go.
Yeah. It just felt weird because when we got confirmation that, Kang is going to be entering the Marvel Universe, that he was going to appear in Ant-Man, Quantumania. And I always found that very weird. Like, Kang is such a big villain in the MCU. Why is he coming out in an Ant-Man movie? Mm-hmm. But now we know why.
Because it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I think, bravo to Marvel on this here, because it seems like, we just started talking about a minute ago, like, how do you compete with yourself and keep yourself up there? You got no more Robert Downey Jr. Chris Evans hanging up. Thor is on his last legs. Yeah, who knows how many more movies he's gonna make here? And you got these background superheroes who were not big players in the first couple of phases, and now they're gonna have to pick up the slack. How do you do that? Bring in another excellent villain like Kang, and a great story like this here. I think it was brilliant there. I think it was brilliant. But that's my thoughts on that there, guys. One final thing I just want to cover here before we start going into our final reviews of episode 6 here. As far as the big reveal after the whole event of Kang being killed by Sylvie, Clark already kind of mentioned it in kind of his perspective on the episode here. We got our Planet of the Apes moment there. Loki comes back. He is back at TVA. He bumps into Mobius. And I forget the soldier's name, but she was fantastic too.
It's like B-52. B-52.
Yeah, it was some kind of.
She should have a name. She'd have a name.
No, she never did, right? I was always one. I was like, what is her name? I'm terrible. Why am I not remember her name? She didn't have one, right? Yeah. But she had a barcode. But anyways, Loki is completely distraught. He just found out the greatest threat of all time has just been unleashed here, and they don't remember who he is. They don't remember who he is here. Mm-hmm. I mean, they. I think Owen Wilson said, "Are you an analyst or something like that? What's your name?"
Right.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, what do you think is the reason why, guys? I mean, they don't remember him. Do you think Kang changed something when he left, or did Sylvie send him to an alternate universe where they never heard of him before or worked with him? I mean, what do you think was the reason for that? Because we saw Kang's statue, a la Planet of the Apes. There, good call out there, Clark, because that's the first thing I thought of. What did you guys think? Why do you think they can't remember what Loki is?
I think it's because, whenever Sylvie killed the what do they call them, the whatever they call him, the one who knows all, or whatever they called him. When she killed him, obviously we don't know how long it took for the eviler Kang to come through and change everything. And also, like I said, we don't know how it's just like how they said the TVA is time is different there because it's like outside of time. We don't know how wherever at the end of time where Kang was, how that affects even where the TVA is. So I think that what happened is that since she killed that Kang, and his whole goal, he was always after the Loki because he kept saying he said a lot of times, I've set all this up to this point because I wanted you here. I think his goal was to get the two Lokis that could kill him or to either kill him or take over for him. His goal was always get them there, and so he made it so the TVA was focused mainly on getting Loki variants. Since he's dead, that new Kang came through. He doesn't care about the Lokis, so he just changed all the TVA's history of what they've been pretty much doing this whole time. And so now that since their focus isn't on Loki's, they don't know who a Loki is.
Wow, that's awesome. I didn't think about it like that way. Damn, Tank. Shit, bro, look at you pulling that out there. Yeah. Audience, what Tank said. that's all I got to say to that one there. Okay, damn, Tank, coming out strong, man. All right, well, hey, we're about to burn the midnight hour over here, so let's get into our final reviews of episode 6 as a special here. Let's give a review of this episode, and the panel, please, if you can guys give an overall grade of the season of Loki for you guys. We'll start off with Clark. Clark, if you will, sir. Episode 6. 1 out of 5 stars.
Episode 6, I give it a solid 4, and the finale, and I give the actual series a 4.
Excellent. Awesome job, man. Okay. Spike, if you will, sir.
Yeah, episode 6 for me was pretty good. I give it a 4.5. And I actually give the entire series a 4.5 last season, episode 3. I'm sorry. But yeah 4 or 5 easy. 4.5.
Fantastic, guys. All right, cool. And Tank, yourself, sir, please.
Yeah, I'll give episode 6, same as Spike. I'll give it a 4.5. We'll get a 5 if it wasn't for like the whole set. I mean, even though the scene was okay, between like Renslayer and Mobius, it just seemed kind of out of place and pointless. So that's why I would get a 5 if not for that. The season as a whole, give it a 4.7 actually.
4.7. Okay. Like I said, Clark, I promise I will send you the manual on the rule system on the rating later. I know you have something to say about that, but we'll save for next time.
I'm too tired.
Yeah, that's all good. I think we all are, man. All right, so listen. So for me, I think I'm gonna give this episode a 5. I like this episode a lot. I'm gonna overlook the crappy subplot just because the main plot was so damn good, and obviously it really opened my mind to not only what they were showing us on the screen, but what that means moving forward for all the MCU movies going into the future here. As a series, I would actually say it's 4.5 stars. I think it was a solid show. Had a rough patch on that third episode there, but they recovered very well. And oh, by the way, Clark, remember when we were talking about our potential people who might come in? You said Coulson, and I said Lady Sif. I was right. I'm going to throw that out there. I nailed it.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, that's true. You did say that.
Lady Sif showed up. So
yeah,
I got that one there. I've been waiting 2 weeks to rub that in your face.
You did it, buddy. You did it.
I did. All right, guys. So that concludes our review of Loki Season 1. It was a heck of a show. Hands down, in my opinion, probably the best show we've gotten from Disney Plus for the MCU so far. So definitely looking forward to Season 2 and any future installments there. So we'll keep our eyes out on that in the future. Clark, you want to take us home?
Absolutely. Another great episode of the House of Fandom. Thank you, boys, for chiming in, providing your expertise, and most of all, your passion for everything fandom. For those of you that are joining us, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. like the show. It helps the algorithm. It helps the YouTube gods. We could sure use the help. We're continuing to, fine tune and bring you guys excellent content. That's the goal of the House of Fandom, and everyone is welcome into the House of Fandom. So we definitely look forward to your continued support. And once again, wherever you are, whether it's a morning time, afternoon time, brunch time, evening time, or good night. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of the House of Fandom. Tank, we're going to be closing out the show, but this time we're going to close out the show with the Donner tribute, with the theme to Superman playing in the background. But earlier we did play the song from your boy, who continues to provide us with our excellent theme song. And what is his name, and where can we find his music?
His name is Joel Torres. His music is music page is at Steel Frame. You can find him on SoundCloud.
All right, awesome, man. Well, thank you guys, and once again, have a great evening, everybody. We'll talk soon.